my name's Gareth and welcome to Fat Pigeon Reviews. Today, as you can see already, probably from the thumbnail, because you know you have eyes, we're looking at the KEF iQ1 bookshelf speaker. Now the iQ1 came out, I think 2006, 2007. I know there's an iQ10 as well, which was like the predecessor of these, the one above these, and that came out in about 2008. Trying to find information on these older speakers, I mean they're 14, 15 years old now. Trying to find a bit of information on these, there's so many different sort of websites and so many people's different opinions on what the specs are. Some say that they're 50 hertz to 40,000 hertz, some they say they're 65 hertz to 40,000 hertz or 20,000 hertz. It's very difficult trying to get a consistency from all these different opinions, if that makes sense. So what I found out is, obviously as we can see, it's got a 5-inch Uni-Q driver on it. Now the Uni-Q driver has the metal dome tweeter built in, set back within the mid-range bass driver itself, as you can see here. So it's a point source actual speaker, a driver. So what happens is when you've normally got a normal bookshelf speaker, you have the mid-range bass down here and the tweeter on the top, or vice versa on some Mission speakers. But there can be some sort of timing delay on those, so that when the tweeter sound gets to you at a different time maybe than the actual bass mid-range itself. But with a point source driver, it all comes from the same source, hence the point and the source. Gets to the point from the source. Anyway, you know what I mean. So yeah, it's very directional and it comes straight out at you from one individual cone, from one individual driver, which is good. I mean, the Uni-Q series is about on the 12th or 13th iteration now. I think the Meta or the LS60s, in fact, I think they're on like generation 12, 13. I'm not entirely sure, I'm not 100%. But this is one of the earlier ones. It's a front firing port as well, as we can see. So when positioning these wasn't actually too bad at all. It wasn't too bad at all. So I just basically put them down. I had a bit of toe in, bit of toe out, and I was moving them around the room a little bit. But they were pretty happy wherever I put them. There wasn't massive amounts of difference in the sound quality. I mean, I didn't put them right in the corners, obviously. I mean, that would just be silly. Now, they're 8 ohm rated. So with your amplifiers and stuff, it would be quite easy to power. Now, I was trying to figure out how much they weigh. On one of the sites that I found, these iQ1s, it said that they weighed 8.8 kilos. They don't weigh that much, they're not that much. They're about 4 or 5 kilos in my opinion. Now these were about £250 new in 2006, 2007. But these are sort of going on eBay at the moment for about 110, 120, depending. I mean, you can actually get, like I said, there's a lot of the iQ10s, the predecessors to these, and ones above these, that are slightly better and slightly larger cone. You can get those for about 140, 150. Now, I've not heard those ones. Obviously, I've heard these ones, because they're here in my house. So it's a 19mm metal dome tweeter set in the centre there of the Uni-Q system. And apparently the actual main driver itself, the 5-inch driver here, this has got some sort of surface. It's got a titanium surfaced, it's called. It's not made of titanium, but it's titanium surfaced. Again, from the information that I could get. Now the design of it, I'm a big fan. I do like the design of this little speaker. I'll put a picture up against some other speakers. I've done the Wharfdales, which are a very small speaker. I did the Missions a day or so ago, the 761i's. And I'll put a picture up just so you can see what sort of size these are against those other two. So for the design of this, I do like it. And I like it in this dark oak. This is a dark oak. It comes in like a light oak as well, as far as I can find. And maybe a cherry, I'm not entirely sure. Again, it's very difficult to get the information on these. I don't have all the time in the world. I don't have a lot of time to research the specifications and stuff like that. I have an hour here, an hour there maybe. And it's very difficult to actually get hold of something that's solid and actually you think that's genuine. But yeah. Okay, enough about the specs. I do like the design of these. I like the fact that the cone, the main driver, protrudes above the actual cabinet, which gives you this nice little plastic tapered look on the top. Like I say, I like the way that it protrudes out. The actual 5-inch driver is like too big for the cabinet, and it protrudes, it like sticks out the top. And it's also like I've got no room, so it squashes the port. And it encroaches on the actual main driver again itself. And it's like a compact design. I think that's what they're going for. The Q series was a very compact, small design on these bookshelves. And it tapers off at the back. It's got this lovely, smooth, gradual taper off the back of the speaker, which again I assume helps for the actual sound acoustics and stuff inside the speaker. So there's less refractions and no hard angles that it can bounce off. So again, it's one of those where it's not. I mean, I think it's not mainly about how it looks. I think it actually does do a lot for the actual sound quality as well with these less refractions. On the back of this, it's got 4 binding posts for your bi-ampable, bi-wireable systems. It's actually got some decent, chunky, solid cable that come with the speakers, that are pre-put on the speakers for the bridge. It hasn't got a piece of cheap metal wedged in between. It's got some chunky, decent cable to bridge the gap between the high frequency and the low frequency. So these were £250 new, and you can get them roughly around £120 on eBay. If you look hard enough. I mean, I've had a quick look and there wasn't that many. But again, they are out there. Now, the sound quality on these. The sound quality, I really did like them. They've got this lovely clean highs. They're very detailed, quite precise at the top end, up to that 40,000 hertz range. They've got this sort of spacious sound to them, like a hologrammatic sort of a sound stage. They produce such a wide sort of sound signature around here, a lot bigger than the actual speaker itself. It's quite surprising on how wide they get. It's like an immersive sort of hologram 3D experience. I mean, there's no sound coming from behind you, obviously, but it's just that it gets some sort of depth to the actual speaker itself. They're nice and wide, like I say. Now, when I towed them in slightly, just toe them in a little bit, and you get this center image. Now, this center image is it's very clear and very clean, like I say, but say if you've got the other speakers sitting here, normally your center image is around here. That's where you like your center image, but it sort of floats high up here. Like I say with the other speaker here, it's sort of here, and it's got this lovely sort of richness to it, warmth to it. I was quite impressed. For about £120, like I say, I've actually borrowed these from my dad. I think he paid like £225, probably back in 2010, something like that. 2008 maybe. I think they were relatively new actually when he bought them. He bought them as a surround sound system. And I thought, I'll tell you what, I'll go around his house all the time, and I thought, I saw these and he uses them as a surround sound, the satellites at the back. In fact, he's got 3 pairs of these, he uses them everywhere. But I thought, I'll tell you, can I borrow those? I want to give him a run, a go on this channel for the affordable audio range. And here they are. And they've like I said, they surprised me, they really have. I've only really heard these for surround sound, just for little bits and bobs, for some atmosphere behind you within his living room. So to actually put music through them and actually sit and listen to them for a couple of days was really nice. It was really surprising, and they've done a better job than I thought. Now the bass, they don't get very low, but it's still it's a nice smooth bass. Like I said, it's not deep and bassy, and it's not going to rattle your windows or anything like that. But it has got bass, and it's just got this little nice refined tight bass. Now it is punchy. It's got a decent punch to it, but no, it's like the missions that I reviewed the other day. They haven't got like real authority behind them. But this is still a nice subtle bass. It's there if you want it, sort of thing. Again, not really low. If you want it low, you're not going to get it from these, unfortunately. But it's a nice, rounded off sort of a bass. It's a soothing bass, if that makes sense. It's comfortable. It's relaxed. Now, it's not relaxed in the way of the timing. They actually keep up very well. They're actually quite responsive, the basses. And for the mid-ranges, just because of that lack of bass, the mid-range sort of suffers a little bit from it. Now, the highs and the mid-range is very clean, very clear, and again, very spacious. But it just needs that little bit of extra to really make these sing, I think. Now, like I said before, these came as a surround sound system. My dad's bought them as a surround sound system for his house, his 5.1 processor all those years ago. And you can get a subwoofer, obviously. They've got a whole set of these with the centre speaker and all that, and you can actually buy a KEF sub, I think, within this series. So I think if you added that to so it's a 2.1 system for your stereo, for your little amplifier, for whatever else you've got. Like I say, this is your affordable audio series, so maybe you've got a little valve amp like me, or a little knob sound thing that I reviewed the other day, a little amplifier from Knob Sound. And with a subwoofer, I mean, don't get me wrong, you'd need to get an amplifier with a sub out, of course. But you can get those. You can get those relatively cheap as well. I might even look into one of those. See what sort of, you know, sub-outs we can get on an amplifier. Anyway, so, sorry, I'm rambling. So if you paired this with any subwoofer, if you've already got a subwoofer, fair enough. Chuck it in with these, and I think that will bring what you need to the speaker itself. It's got, when there's strings involved, and they're, like I said, they're very clean, and they're very crisp at the high ends. And the female vocals, male vocals, any sort of guitar, anything in that mid-range, you just want a little bit more from the sort of the strings. But again, they are super clean and super twangy. It just hasn't got the depth, the oomph, the bass to that guitar string. If someone plucked that guitar string live in front of you, it'll have a little bit more of that lower end resonance type thing to the string for it, you know, because obviously vibrating through the air. But you just lack a little bit of that. Not on all tracks, not on every track, just on certain really dominant plucking of guitars. You can just notice it's a little bit stretched out, the sound is. Like I say, they haven't got if you were to describe them, like I say, because they're so airy, and they're like fluffy. It's a lovely soundstage. Like I say, it gets this soundstage, but because it's so airy, it's like it's stretched the sound out a little bit, and it's just got a little bit thinner. It's not got the thickness. That's the word. It hasn't got the thickness to the strings. It hasn't got the thickness to some of the vocals. But if you like precise, clean, crisp detail, which I do. Now I'm saying I want this extra bit of depth, extra bit of thickness to the strings and to the vocals. But these are £120 on eBay. They're only £250 new. But then they were never going to get to the, you know, that really high-end sort of, you get all the depth through it. Some speakers do, don't get me wrong, some speakers do. And I do want to test a lot more speakers at this price range and within this affordable audio series. I've been looking at a similar price to these, I think, a similar price to these. So I really do want to get some of the Q acoustics, the 3020s. I'm not sure the 3020Is are £120 or just the 3020s. Now I'd love to test. Again, these are retailing at about £120 on eBay if you can get hold of a pair in good condition. Yeah, £119 I think I've seen a couple of pairs for now. But then you've got like I said, the Q acoustics, which are £120 brand new. So I'd love to put these up against a brand new set worth £120 just to see what the difference is. Now, apart from, like I say, having a little lack of bass, the sound that comes from these, it is impressive. And again, I did not expect that sort of wide, airy soundstage from these, and it just floats in the centre, like I say. The strings are nice. Everything is so sort of refined and crisp and clean. Clean is the best word. It's super clean sounding. Now, as on certain tracks, it was a little bit too high for me. Only on certain bits and bobs. There was a duo that I listened to on a couple of my different playlists and stuff like that for testing out speakers. And her voice just got to me a little bit. I think, ooh, but it was only for a split second. So these can get a little bit bright only on certain tracks. Most of the tracks I didn't notice, I was super happy with these. I'm thinking for £120, they are worth the money. Then it just hit this sort of, don't get me wrong, it was higher than that. Sorry about the vocals there. Yeah, I should have been a singer. But it just hit this real high note, and it thought like, oh, it cut through me just a little bit. But only that one instance. Only that one instance. So in theory, depending on what sort of music you're listening to, these could potentially get just a little bit bright. But I wasn't put off by it because everything else that I listened to was absolutely fine, and it wasn't too bright at all. Like I say, just on this one track for me. Now I listened to dance music, jazz. I loved jazz through these. Again, I'm a big fan. I've said on many of my videos in the past, I'm a big fan of the sort of sounds and the depth and the sort of raw thickness that comes from a saxophone. Nice. Violins have a lovely sort of crispness to them. Again, I expected them to be a little bit bright on the violins, but again, it was just this one voice that I noticed. They do get super high. They're super clean. I know I keep saying they're super clean, but it's just this airy, clean mid-range and treble that's just nice. The detail, you can hear the detail within these speakers, and they're £120. And like I say, I do want to match them up with a newer £120 speaker. I was absolutely blown away. That's what I love about the channel, and I love about doing this. Again, I don't get paid for any of this. I've got to sort of save up and get these £120 speakers in so I can review them. And one day, I mean, when I've got a certain amount of subscribers, 500, 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to give most of them away. I think I'll give the Wharfdales away to some lucky winner. And maybe a set of these as well, if I can convince my dad to give me a pair. I apologise if this video seems very edited together. I have a little puppy, a little cockapoo puppy, and she's constantly jumping up and... yeah. No, I'm not giving you any attention. I will, I promise. Let me just get this video done, then we're going to do some sound tests, okay? Takes a lot of patience, a lot of patience. They were sitting there on these little stands behind his sofa, and they were just being wasted. So wasted. And I'm so glad I've got them on the channel. So, you know, we can have a listen. I'm going to put a sound test on like I always do with the 11 tracks, just to see if you like them as well. Like I say in all my videos, wear headphones or have some decent desktop speakers. But through your phone, it's not going to give you you're not going to tell the difference between these. You're not really going to get a real essence of what these can sound and these can produce. I'm going to say it on all of my videos. So headphones, decent speakers to listen to them on. And you can tell the difference between all the speakers I've put on. So the great thing about this affordable audio range, I'm sort of trying to get a portfolio together. I want to get as many speakers through the channel as I can, so I'm going to gain more experience. I've had lots of experience in the past. Now, my experience with KEF speakers, I bought some KEF iQ7s, the floor standers. Oh, I don't know when. I mean, it was probably in 2005, 2006 sort of time. Yeah, they were very similar to these. They look very similar to these. The Uni-Q driver, then it had a bass driver underneath as well. And they had an aluminium dome tweeter at the very top within the Uni-Q system. And I had them for about 3 days, 4 days, and I was loving them, and I was running them in, and they were sounding better and better over time. And I had my little nephew come round. I wasn't in at the time. My nephew came around, and I had the grills off. I mean, this is just, you know where it's going. So an 18-month-old boy, 2-year-old boy, no grills on, with aluminium tweeters, and he just poked them both. Just went around like poking stuff. Again, it sort of ruined my month, that did. I just bought the speakers and he put these 2 little fingers, perfect little toddler fingers, within these actual tweeters, these metal dome tweeters. And yeah, it sort of ruined it for me a little bit. I mean, it didn't affect the sound too much. I mean, back then I was still into my sound and I still liked it and I loved it. I know what I wanted to hear. But yeah, it didn't affect the sound, I don't think. Not noticeable to me anyway, with just pushing in the dome bit. But it sort of ruined it for me a little bit. They were new, 3 days old. Anyway, so that's my experience with KEF. It wasn't a great experience, but this is a better experience, so I'm not going to push these in. But being as it's, like I say, I'm trying to get this portfolio. I know I keep saying it. I've probably said it before. This is about an hour and a half long, this video, with my puppy. I'm trying to get edits and I'm trying to remember where I am. So, but because this is a small channel, I'm trying to build the channel, like I said before. More and more speakers I have come through, the better sort of understanding I've got of them, and hopefully, and I'm trying to get, I keep saying the same sort of things, and I know it comes across as that, oh, it's clean, it's crisp, and I say it quite a lot, but that's sort of my vocabulary at the minute, and I'm trying to get more vocabulary. When I'm listening to more and more speakers, I'm sort of like expanding that vocabulary, and I'm getting new sounds from them and new things, like I say, with this holographic sort of feel in the soundstage. Fluffiness didn't really work for me. I said they were a bit fluffy. Fluffy is probably a bad thing, a bad terminology to use. But I'm trying to get these words across so you understand more. I mean, a lot of people use transparency and richness of tones and all this sort of stuff. I mean, transparency to me means that they're very full, they're open, that you can see everything. Yeah, they reveal everything. They're very transparent, and I'm trying to sort of stay away from that. I don't know why. I could just use transparent. I could use all this terminology from audio files that they use all the time. But I'm trying to get my own sort of thing. Like I did a review on the Mission speakers, and they were a little bit thin, and I said about a sheet being thrown over them. That's what it sounds like. Not everybody understands what the transparency means and this means, especially if you're just getting into it, and especially with this affordable series range. I'm getting younger and younger viewers watching. Now, speaking of the younger and younger viewers, and speaking of you guys as viewers, I'm a very small channel at the moment. I want your input. Please, just give me your input. If you think you've found a little gem, like the little Wharfdales, like these are a very good little speaker, and they were hidden from me behind the sofa, it seems, at my dad's house. And now they've come to light, and I love these little things, especially at this price point. They're very good. They're very clean, very crisp again. Ooh, clean and crisp. But being as I'm a small channel, I get to read all the comments. I've only got a certain amount of subscribers at the moment, so please, I would love your input. Give me your input. Send me your comments. Oh, I know of a speaker. Try these, try that. I've actually got a person at the moment, Linux Lucy, is always commenting on my videos, and I love that. And she's enthusiastic, and I'm enthusiastic about these myself, and I like to meet people that are enthusiastic. And she's been helping me along this journey, and I thank Linux Lucy very much for that. She's constantly keeping me on my toes, and she's saying to me, oh, try this, try that, these are a good one, these are a good set. Try these on your videos. If you like this, try these. I'm also trying to get my own system together, and she's been helping me along the way with that, with amplifiers and things like that. And she's recommending these different turntable phono stages within the amps, and if you like your vinyl, go with this one, and if you don't like your vinyl, if you want your streaming, go with this one. I know that there's a lot of amps out there. I understand that, but I don't know them all at the moment. I do a lot of research. I've been looking into stereos. I've been researching stereos since pretty much the internet came out. As soon as eBay came out, I spent an absolute fortune on eBay, getting bits and bobs and snapping these little cheap speakers up. And that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been doing with the amps. I mean, I was into Technics, all that sort of stuff. Pioneer, I bought some Kenwoods. I just wanted to get my portfolio even back then, but now I'm on YouTube, I need this portfolio, and I want more. And I want your suggestions. Again, because I'm only a small channel, I will read them, and I will probably get them. This Linux Lucy, like I say, she's actually just bought some of the little Wharfdales. Fantastic. You know, I've had an impression on someone. Hopefully she likes them as much as I do. So yeah, just feel free, honestly, just send a comment. I'll read it. I'll see what I can do and I'll reply to you. It's the beauty of having a small channel. I haven't got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I've got to just select a few comments that I can return, return a comment to, reply to. I'll reply to all of them. The best the best I can. So please, just, again, thank you to this Linux Lucy. She's been helping me along the way. And I just want to learn. No, I don't know everything, of course I don't. But then all these different people, like yourselves, just throw a comment. Oh, try this. Throw another comment out saying, oh, these speakers sound good with this. Have you ever thought about this amplifier? Especially the cheaper audio range, because I can actually buy them myself. So if you've got a little gem out there that you absolutely love, an amplifier, a pair of speakers, a phono stage, anything, turntable, throw me a comment. I'll see if I can get hold of one and I'll put it on the channel. On that, like, subscribe, clickiness, all that. Oh, I like, oh yeah, it's good, yeah. Yeah, like and subscribe if you're enjoying the videos and if you're enjoying the content. And like I say, please do leave some comments in the comment section below. It's how I learn. And it's how I get better as a YouTube. If you think I can do something better on the YouTube, I need to add this, add that. Again, I'll read it, I'll take it in mind, and I'll probably change whatever you're unhappy with, if you're unhappy with anything. I'm just all hands, you see. I'm just all hands and emotion and excited about speakers. I just love this sort of, I say it is a hobby, isn't it? I love this hobby. I love this sort of audio file, trying to find the best in this, trying to find the best amp that pairs with that. And again, especially with the Wharfdales, they stand out so much to me because I did not expect that. And I'm always looking for something that puts a smile on my face. Now these put a grin on my face. It wasn't the full beam smile. It was a nice grin though. It was a nice grin with these, the sound quality of these, the sound sort of reproduction, the natural tones to these speakers. And they did surprise me. I was nearly cracking a smile, but I sort of expected them to be this sort of sound signature because of their KEF. So they did still surprise me because, like I say, I've been seeing them every day. Not every day, but I see them all the time at my dad's house. And again, a little bit wasted as a surround sound system. But because of that, like I said in the start of the video, I'm not sure whereabouts I am in the video. All the different sections I've got to edit together. But again, add a subwoofer to these, and I think these will come alive because they do have that high-end detail that you want, and they do have that sort of nice separation. They do everything quite well. They do it all well. They're a nice rounded speaker. So if you, like I said before, if you're enjoying the videos, please subscribe. It's free. Honestly, it doesn't cost you anything. Just click the button. I think I have when I do my editing and stuff, I put one at the end of the video. So if there's nothing on the actual screen whilst I'm doing the videos, but wait till the end of the video. Watch the end of the video. I'll do a little jig for you. Maybe. And then, yeah, just hit the subscribe button, and then you can see all the new and upcoming stuff. Oh, watch. You can see all the new, you see this, look. This is a crazy thing. I move my arms around so much in enthusiasm, it thinks I'm working out on my watch. That's why I'm so slim and slender. So I tell you what, on that note, that big lie of me being slim and slender, I'll call it a day on the video. Now, I turn them up. There's a certain volume that these actually sort of sing at. And I found that with certain speakers. That could be my amplifier though. So I turn it up, I give it a little bit more power, and you think, oh, there's the sweet spot. And these have a nice sweet spot. It's not too loud, and it's got a lovely sweet spot for these. And then you just sit and you can just listen to that crispy, detailed, airy sort of music that's coming out. And again, it just puts this grin on your face. Yeah, again, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go. So thank you so much for watching the channel. Thank you so much for watching this video. And hopefully, fingers crossed, arms crossed, I'll see you in the next one.